Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about a huge, fundamental shift in how we even think about leadership today. And it's not about learning some new technique, it's about a completely different way of seeing the world. A move from a model of doing to a model of being.
But first, why is this shift so incredibly important right now? Well, it's because companies all over the world are facing this quiet but really profound leadership crisis. The old playbook, it just doesn't work anymore.
And the proof is right there in the data. A recent global forecast found that only a staggering 11% of organizations feel like they have a strong leadership bench. That is the lowest it has been in a decade. So with tens of thousands of leadership books out there, what are we all missing? What's going on?
Well, this reveals a core paradox in how we approach leadership. See, we hire people for their hard skills, their technical know-how, their functional expertise. But why do they so often fail? It almost always comes down to a lack of people skills. The inability to relate, to communicate effectively, and to truly inspire a team.
This paradox exists because a lot of us are still operating from a really outdated playbook, one that was designed for a totally different world. Let's just call it the 20th century model. This old model is all about the what. It focuses on what a leader does. It's a world of processes, procedures, checklists. And, in a stable, slow-moving industrial economy, this approach actually made a lot of sense. But in today's complex, super fast-changing world, it falls dangerously short.
To thrive in the 21st century, we need a really radical shift in our approach. We have to move beyond just what leaders do and start focusing on something much, much deeper.
This new model is all about a leader's way of being. Now, this isn't about memorizing more information. It's about developing a new capacity to observe, to interpret, and then to design effective action in any situation, no matter how complex or unpredictable it gets.
I mean, let's just look at them side by side. The 20th century was about doing. The 21st is about being. It's the difference between following a checklist and actually designing a brand new solution. It's making that leap from top-down command to a more fluid network of coordination. So how do we make this leap? The answer isn't to just learn more facts. The key is to transform the very lens through which you see the entire world.
And this brings us to a really powerful framework, the observer, action, results model. It shows that the results you get are a direct consequence of the actions you take. But, and this is crucial, the actions you decide to take are determined by how you as an observer see the world. Your way of being shapes literally everything.
We've all heard this famous quote, right? It perfectly captures that frustration of being stuck. When we don't get the results we want, our first instinct is to just try harder, to change our actions. But what if that's not the real leverage point?
This is the difference between first-order and second-order learning. First-order learning is changing what you do. It's useful, but it's limited. Second-order learning, now that is transformative. It's about changing how you see, which opens up a whole new universe of possible actions and therefore new results. You're basically learning to observe your own observing.
So, if we need to shift our observer, where do we start? Let's look at two incredibly powerful domains where this way of being becomes real: language and moods. And look, these are not soft skills. They are the very tools leaders use to create reality. We tend to think of language as something that just describes the world. But for a 21st century leader, language creates the world. This is the whole principle of speech acts. Your words are your primary tool for action.
Just think about it for a second. When you make a request, you're not just talking, you're creating a potential future. When you make a promise, you're building a commitment. When you make a declaration, you can bring a new reality into existence. This is how leaders coordinate action and actually get things done.
Okay, next, let's talk about moods. A leader's mood is never a private feeling. It's like a broadcast that powerfully shapes the team's reality. A mood of resignation, for example, it just closes down all the possibilities. But a mood of ambition, that throws the doors wide open for new thinking and decisive action.
So let's bring all this together. What is the fundamental takeaway for your own leadership journey?
Let's be really clear about what this all means. The skills that separate good leaders from the truly exceptional ones, that top 1%, are not their technical abilities. In today's world, that's just table stakes. The real differentiator is internal. It exists within their way of being.
Ultimately, leadership transformation isn't about adding more to your to-do list. It's about fundamentally changing your perspective. It's about that big move from doing to being. So the question to leave you with is this: what will you observe differently tomorrow?